you think it leaves the title race then after this weekend? Because Liverpool get the comfortable win at home to Ipswich, which I think was fairly expected, and then Arsenal get that battling win against Wolves, where they will come out with a sense of injustice, but all 3 points.
Yeah, the thing is that you have to do that because Liverpool are in such control. They're playing so well that, you know, you've seen it. Even when it's not going well, they'll take someone off the bench and they get it done. At the moment, obviously, Arsenal can't do that, but Arsenal, the only thing they can do is make sure that they stay in it and, if not winning the game, at least get a point, not lose the game. So I think, again, you know, Liverpool are in prime position, and I think it's theirs to lose now.
Let's start by focusing then on the league leaders. It was a 4-1 win against Ipswich. No big surprises really in the game itself, but just that sense of a very comfortable performance.
Yeah, that's the problem with Arsenal chasing and a few other clubs you could argue are chasing as well, is Liverpool don't look like they're going to slip up. I mean, Brentford last week was a bit like into the 90th minute, they've dropped 2 points. Arsenal play later, they could close the gap to 2, I think it was that night, but Nunes comes off the bench, as rightly said. He's used his squad brilliantly, Arne Slot, this season. And everything he seems to do, he gets it right. So they're going to be very difficult. I can't see them losing 3 games between now and the end of the season. But I just hope that Arsenal keep pushing and putting the pressure on them to make a brilliant title race. Yeah,
the one thing that is massively in Arsenal's favour is that they do have that game coming up against Arsenal where it's kind of in their hands to try and turn the momentum in the title race. And that could be absolutely crucial. But in terms of Liverpool's performance yesterday, did we see the kind of full array of like the attacking options that they have, the different styles of attacker that they have in the side?
I think that was the key thing. There's been so much said about Salah's utilisation and how much of the goal contribution he's been carrying. But you see Gakpo getting the goal sheet, you see Szoboszlai getting the goal, and he's been epitomised by his engine this year. You're starting to see that goals can come from anywhere with Liverpool, and it's at this point in the season where they want to be. And if you look at Arsenal with the injuries, it's completely different. You're missing your Saka, Jesus, we're probably not going to see him for a long time. A lot of attention has been on Kai Havertz. So they're in totally 2 different places, but you just hope for Arsenal's sake that maybe Liverpool face some adversity, because they had the same thing last season, right? Everything was going smooth sailing, then they had injuries. So as you said, rightly, you just got to hold in.
You just got to hold in. But that's the difference. Last season, this time, I think Mo Salah had to go. I think Endo went. I think Szoboszlai was injured. Robertson was injured. Trent, I think Trent was injured. So, and this season, everybody's fit and everybody's.
And you guys have got injuries.
Exactly, and we have.
And the injuries that they have had a couple. So Alisson missed nearly half the season, but then has come back in the latter stages.
They look very good.
I think what I would say, and it's probably just an easy argument, is the centre forward. Maybe that's your position at Arsenal. There's games this season where Arsenal have dropped points, and I think they had a more like Ian Wright sort of person, a clinical striker in front of the goal. I think the gap wouldn't be as big as it is, and even now with the like of Jesus and Saka missing. It seems like even Arteta's sort of hinting that we might try and get someone. I think that'd be a big help if they did.
Yeah, but we needed somebody even when everybody was fit.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I was just with Liverpool, what they've really addressed from last season is the conceding of that early goal, and then the game's a little bit too open because they've got to go and try and get. There's so much more in control now that you don't feel like they have to go and chase that goal or chase that game because they conceded so many early goals. They're in so much more control. The midfield's fantastic. And then, you know, like we said up front, everybody, the goals are everywhere. Gakpo's very impressive. You know, Mo Salah will, like he mentioned, I saw him in an interview talking about, you know, I may not play great in all the game, but I will have a moment.
Yeah,
you know?
but this is the thing. He's being, the phrase I keep hearing around Mohamed Salah at the moment is a moments player. And it's almost slightly disparaging, and yet surely that's what you need in a team. If everybody else is functioning for the full 90 minutes, you can have a moment's play.
Absolutely, and the thing is, I think what Mo was trying to say in that interview is like, listen, I know I don't play well for the whole 90 minutes, but like there's moments where I know I can recognise I can do something in this time, and that is all you want as a forward, especially. You know, somebody, because people constantly talking about Haaland's lack of touches, or when it was Lukaku, or Mo Salah's nowhere near this game. Then Mo Salah scores the winner and everyone says, Mo's amazing. Because the good players, the top players recognise, okay, it's not going well for me, but I'm going to stay in the moment for when the moment comes. And that's what Mo's doing this season.
I just find it interesting in the course of where he is in terms of the contract negotiations, which obviously we're coming towards the end of January, and that's going to be a significant milestone in that But when they're looking at him, and it happened with the very best. It happened with Messi, where he became more and more a moments player and less a 90 minutes player as his career went on. And I wonder if the hierarchy are looking at that and thinking, if those patches between the moments get longer, is that going to be an issue in the long term?
That's why they're not. That's why the deal's not going through?
I'm just looking at just because that's where the conversation is around Mohamed Salah.
Just really make a phone call or something and ask what's happening.
I don't think anybody.
If Liverpool are like deliberating over the fact, yeah, but he's having moments. He's getting to that stage of his life. He's that age. Maybe the moments. Should we take a chance? I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take a chance because what's going to happen, Kels, is that Liverpool, who are in a progressive mode, they're in the ascendancy, they're going to bring better players in as well. And even if he's there, he will still have moments. It's the kind of money that I would spend.
I find it really interesting because we're speaking about the title race, 6 points clear, game in hand, 10 goals on Arsenal in terms of goal difference after this win. With his numbers this season, it's working.
Yeah.
And I think what I have to give Slot credit for is you've got a situation where 3 of your major players are having contract disputes.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
Beginning of January, the Trent conversation got very sour with the Madrid links. He looks like he's settled again. Van Dijk, we've not heard anything of. The Mo Salah stuff, it plays out. But he's managed to have Rock keep the ship very, very steady.
Yeah.
And they're in a really good position now. Like you said, I don't see them losing 3 games. If they do get injuries, the whole quartet of players come. I've seen Harvey Elliott spawn out of nowhere and play well as well. So they're in a really good position. And I think for Arsenal, you just have to keep close enough because you never know what happens in the Premier League. Right?
And the other thing to point out about Salah is that he's just to come back to that point is that he's gone above Thierry Henry now in terms of all-time Premier League goal scorers, and he's established.
Sometimes he doesn't get the credit, Kelly, I think, as well.
Yeah,
I think recently someone mentioned, like even last year for the Ballon d'Or, for example, he wasn't even in the conversation. And the numbers every single year, his assists, his goals, and even we just showed the goal from the weekend. There's a defender sliding and the keeper's on an angle. If you pause it at that second when he hits it, like there's not very much to hit at all. And he makes it look so easy. And he's got the knack of scoring goals. But he's been an all-time, even when he leaves Liverpool in the summer or he leaves in a couple of years, he'll go down as a great Premier League, one of the greats for sure.
He's just got a midfielder to jump over, then he's up there with the rest of the strikers. But look, it's left Liverpool in a really good position, as you say. However, for Arsenal, it was so nearly extremely nervy for them.
This is the football show. Let's turn our attention to another dominant performance from Liverpool. They beat Ipswich 4-1 Saturday. In the week that Arne Slot said his father was disappointed with the win over Lille, it wasn't exciting enough. Will he have been entertained by that, Stephen?
Do you know what? He was probably bored of this as well because it was just a non-contest. I mean, it was really, really poor from Ipswich. As good as Liverpool were, Ipswich didn't lay a glove on them. It was so passive in the way that they tried to sit in and be organised, but they didn't lay a glove on them. They didn't get tight to them. Liverpool had the run of the pitch. They dominated possession. It looked like every time that they went forward, they could score at will. But this looked like a team in Ipswich who turned up and felt like they'd been humiliated against Manchester City and felt that the same could happen again at Anfield. And they just sort of tried to say, we'll keep it as low as we can. Honestly, it was such a poor performance from Ipswich. I was really disappointed because I thought, I wonder what the response will be, and there wasn't much of a response. But Liverpool, to their credit, were very, very, very professional in what they did.
Very professional, because there have been questions about their performances. You watch them a lot. Would you say they're boring to watch?
No, I understand it's different style to what Jurgen Klopp was, and it's more pragmatic in the way that they play. But there's times where it's breathtaking, where you watch the interchange of play and you go, wow, how quickly do they turn defence into attack? And I don't think it's boring. I think it's just a different style of football.
And I guess if you stand on the carp, sit now, showing my age there, sit on the carp, you really don't care. You're top of the league, you're winning games convincingly.
Yeah.
Do you really mind?
No, I think there's a difference.
Because Tottenham play entertaining football.
Yeah.
You'd rather be Chelsea play entertaining football. Yeah. You'd rather be Liverpool right now.
I think there's a big difference in the fact of when you watched Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, and I think there's quite a few games that I could look back on this season where I'd say they could have been down in the game had it been under Jurgen Klopp, because it would have been a little bit more gung-ho. They'd have been dragged out of positions a little bit more. So that is where there's more organisation in the team. And I think Liverpool fans have understood that in this short spell of Arne Slot since he's been in charge. Liverpool won't care. If they win the title this season under Arne Slot, they will not care. They'll be absolutely over the moon. To say that they can fight on four fronts still at this point of the season, they're over the moon with that. I think there's an element where they're looking, thinking, this is only his first season as well. So where could they go to, given his own players and kicking on, if they are to win something this season? So I think Liverpool fans are extremely excited under Arne Slot, but also as well to see his tactical versatility. He's able to adapt within games and change things, and they're only subtle changes at times, but you can spot them.
Should we talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Why not?
Is it fair to say, back to his brilliant best, should have had a goal himself, but his future still remains uncertain? How important is it that they keep hold of him until at least the end of the season?
Yeah, of course. I think Liverpool want to keep hold of all three of the players that have that's been spoken about potentially going elsewhere. But what a brilliant player is with the ball at his feet, the ability to not only see a pass but then execute it to perfection. The timing, the weight of pass is outstanding. We saw his versatility obviously with Jurgen Klopp when he was coming into those central areas with England as well, where he's played in that midfield, but playing at right back, the crossing ability, the sort of just creating something out of nothing. There's not many players that can do that and produce that on a consistent basis. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, they've got Conor Bradley, so it doesn't really matter. Conor Bradley's a brilliant player that's got so much potential, but he's not Trent Alexander-Arnold. So 100% Liverpool will want to keep hold of him.
Joe's really interesting. I was at the Lille game the other night, and Conor Bradley got caught out 4 or 5 times down that right-hand side, getting caught, drawn towards the ball, much like Trent does. It's the style Liverpool playing at times, and it can often not just be the defender's fault or that player's fault. It's how the system's set up at times. And I remember I was watching the game thinking, if Trent was playing tonight, they'd be all over this, saying, he can't defend. Conor Bradley's young at the moment, and he's still learning his trade. He has not got the quality of Trent Alexander-Arnold going. He's got great ability going forward, and he's a different type of attacking threat. But Trent's ability to pass a ball it's outrageous.
Yeah, it is.
It's De Bruyne, Beckham, Gerrard, Scholes all rolled into one. I mean, you're talking about arguably, I'd say one of the best passers, if not the best passer of a ball in the world. I mean, how you can say that about a right back, but then what he brings from that right back position is just phenomenal. Some of his passing at the weekend, I was commentating on the game, and I'm like, oh my God, how's he done that? It's the confidence to do it as well, and it's effortless.
Yeah.
But to be able to pick out, I mean, the ball for Gakpo's goal is just phenomenal, isn't it? It's just it's on the money.
Yeah.
There's a great angle from behind the goal. You can watch his eyes as he hits it.
Yeah.
And he's watching the ball, and his eyes almost light up as he goes, I've hit that well.
Yeah.
Talking of Gakpo and his goals, 2 for him. So after his rest in the week, that's 8 Premier League goals this season, as many as he managed all last season. How key has he become to his side?
Yeah, he's been excellent. The goals, the assists, and he just looks like a player that's really high in confidence in a successful team, a team that's very much playing well. And you think, obviously, Diaz can play in that position, so it was that competition for places, but now they've shown that they can both play together and be very successful. He certainly had a good Euros, but I've always thought that he's a brilliant player, not just this season. You just feel he's obviously adding the goals this season. But yeah, intelligent footballer, good finisher, settled in really well, and yeah, I just think the team are playing very well, and he's certainly one of those individual players that you can certainly highlight. He's having a good season.
Salah, Mane, Firmino. The expectation was you'd never see the like again of that front three in a Liverpool shirt. Is there a chance here that Gakpo, Salah, Luis Diaz can usurp them? You're shaking your head.
Why not? They're not as good as them. They're good, but you think of what Mane brought and Firmino brought to that team. Now, Firmino's assist, his ability to bring that team together as a formation, he helped that formation work under Jurgen Klopp. Diaz doesn't have the goal return or the assists at the moment in that central position. Now, if you put Diogo Jota in there and he's fully fit for the season, I think you get different output and I think you'd get different numbers from that front three in a whole. I think that's the one position where he happily rotates. I think when he's got... If you're going to play, for talking's sake, tomorrow, you've got the biggest game that Liverpool have got in the season and he's got his front three to pick from and he picks from any of the front three, I think he goes Salah, Jota, Gakpo. I think Diaz is just on the edge and I think he feels like Diaz can play left or right, left or central, and I think he's happy with that. I think he thinks Gakpo's just a left player. But Jota brings a danger. He brings something different. When you think of that Nottingham Forest game, Liverpool weren't really creating too many opportunities. Jota comes on and suddenly makes runs that no one else makes. He also has this ability with the ball at his feet to chop it left and right, and he causes so many different problems. Whereas Diaz doesn't quite have that end product, and he does a lot of his work in front of defenders, whereas Jota does it next to defenders and in behind them, but he can also do it in front of them. So he brings a different dynamic. So I don't think they're anywhere near at that level of those the three that you mentioned at the beginning, but they are devastating as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mane, Salah and Firmino, I think at their peak were absolute world class, and they were like an established front three. You thought, well, Origi could come in if they needed to rotate, but you knew those three, whereas I think these three are very good, but I think it's probably, you've got 3 out of 5, haven't you, that you could pick from. Yeah. You'd say Salah would start, but I think the others could rotate in those positions. So I think they're still a work in progress. I think those three were world class and don't come anywhere near just yet.
Mane was massively underrated. For 5 years, he was unplayable. Yeah. Unplayable.
Mm. You don't want to be disrespectful before any match. You go, well, I know what's going to happen here. But it just felt like you couldn't see any other way that Liverpool weren't going to win that very comfortably, could you?
I didn't expect Liverpool to do anything else, but I didn't expect that many goals. I really didn't expect that many goals.
Well, you thought Ipswich would be a little bit more
more resilient. A bit more resilient, really. A bit more resilient, maybe a little bit more...
6 at home the week before.
A bit more cautious. That's why I'm expecting them to be a little bit more cautious and just, let's keep it down. I think Liverpool just went through the gears and just... I think Szoboszlai has made a huge difference. Now he's had a few games. I think he's such a good player. Gets himself a goal. Salah does what he does. But I just think when Liverpool bounced the ball about quickly, Ipswich didn't know what to do. It was like they could have had...
There's a sort of efficiency and a smoothness about them, which is a little bit different to Klopp's old heavy metal, which was brilliant to watch, wasn't it? But was at times, wasn't it? Absolutely million miles an hour.
Yeah, I think they thrived on a bit of chaos.
Yeah.
It was like an organised chaos, whereas I think I can't believe how calm Arne Slot is. Yeah. His demeanour is amazing. He's not too up, he's not too down. He's got easily the best front six in the division. Yeah. He's got 5 or 6 options he can rotate. Gakpo's brilliant every time he plays. Diaz, Salah by far the best player in the Premier League. Most goals, most assists. Then he's got McAllister, he's got Szoboszlai, he's got Harvey Elliott's had a huge impact coming from the bench.
Gravenberch,
Nunes, Gravenberch. He's got, at the top of the pitch, he's got 6 that can win in the game at any time. Plus, he's got the best keeper in the division. Best centre-back in the division.
Best 2 centre-backs. Well, best partnership.
Best partnership. Yeah. So, in that sense, I think you look at Arsenal, why they won't win the league this year, probably. They don't have the experience that Liverpool have. Alisson, Van Dijk, Salah. Mm. They're close, Arsenal, but they need a striker, and they probably need a couple more, like guys like Van Dijk that have a bit more experience. Yeah. But I just think this Liverpool team is a perfect blend.
And they need somebody to train on Arsenal in the way that Gakpo's trained on, hasn't he? Interesting, Gakpo and Gravenberch, 2 Dutchmen who played so well under a Dutchman this season. Gakpo's been fantastic.
First of all, I can't believe people criticise this kid. He's like, 6'3"?
Yeah.
Can dribble, he's quick, technically he's really good. Can pick a pass, he's a great finisher, can play multiple positions. Same like Gravenberch. Gravenberch, probably 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
These kids, look at this ball. Mo makes it look easy. He makes everything look easy, but...
There's a real smoothness about Gakpo now and a real confidence about the way he's playing.
Yeah, I think Gakpo is one of the first
to expose Kyle Walker this season for the pace and the lack of confidence. And since then, he just seems to be finding those lovely little pockets, and he's not afraid to go outside on his left foot, comes inside, comes infield.
He likes to come in off the left.
Yeah, he
really
does, but he's happy to go on the outside as well. So therefore, the fullback's thinking, where do I go? How do I mark him?
Oh, you're absolutely purring
Oh,
over this.
look at this. You can't miss.
It's almost as good as that Bournemouth cross, but it's fantastic.
That is the perfect cross for a centre-forward. Just get some.
You're thinking, how do I spend my goal bonus as it comes?
I'm thinking, how do I celebrate?
Yeah.
I'm sick of goal bonus.
So look, that's at home. That just underlines, what Gakpo's done. 7 starts, 11 appearances, 7 goals. So a goal every 70 minutes. And as you say, Jota, who's a great player, at the moment is having to come off the bench, isn't he? Jota and Nunes are having to do their thing off the bench because Salah, Diaz and Gakpo look like they're the first choice as things stand.
Definitely, and that's been probably the biggest difference. The back four has pretty much looked the same.
Yeah.
Gravenberch has come in as a defensive midfielder, and he's not one. And he's done absolutely amazing. And obviously, they've dropped Nunes. I think Diaz has often played as a false nine, Gakpo off the left sometimes. That's the difference. But actually, there have been 2 key differences, and they've been exceptional.
Absolutely. They are the team to beat by some distance, with Liverpool beating Ipswich. Their closest challengers, Arsenal, were at